Hello, hey, I'm Dave, here to talk about RFK 1989. There's not a lot of battery power in my little video camera, so if it cuts off abruptly, that's what it is. It's not your system. So, as you're probably aware, we're doing a 6 CD box set of the 2 shows at RFK Stadium, July 12th and 13th, 1989. And we've referred to this tour as probably one of the best tours, well, definitely one of the best tours. Some people consider it the best tour, along with Spring of '90, maybe the last 15 years of Grateful Dead playing or so. I love these shows, and I was fortunate to have attended all of them from July 2nd of Foxborough through Cal Expo on August 4th, 5th, and 6th of 1989. And really, the Dead were playing at a peak. Honestly, you get out of every show never disappointed and always saying, how did they just do that? How did they just do a better show tonight than they did last night? And by this point of the tour, they'd already done Foxborough and Buffalo and JFK and the 2 at Giants, and then they hit RFK. And the weather, I'll never forget the weather at RFK. It was really humid and raining. And RFK it's one of those bowl stadiums that were really popular 40 years ago. And I remember the sound, because of the humidity and the moisture in the air and the denseness of whatever, the bass traveled incredibly well. Both the bottom end, it shook the place, but the tone of every note, I remember that being really special. But anyhow, box set, 6 CDs, 2 complete shows of the summer of '89. Really one of my favorite times for the Grateful Dead. And I've mentioned this before, that when Weir has asked me for songs, when he used to give songs to the Rat Dog guys when they'd be rehearsing new Grateful Dead songs, he would ask for versions of songs that I'd pass on to Jay and Jeff and whoever else. And he would always specifically ask for summer '89. Say, yeah, and he'd comment on it, say we were hot then. And these guys never, I don't hear them very often discuss specific times when they remember being really hot. They were really great a lot, but when they actually remembered, and when they do, it's when you would expect it. Europe '72, they remember that Bobby's phrase on that one, we were playing like demons. Spring '77, same thing, a lot of good memories. Summer '89, Spring '90, all that late Brent stuff, same thing. So what we've got are 2 incredible shows. And I'll get a little bit on the technical side. Jeffrey Norman, as I'm recording this, is hard at work at Weir's TRI Studios in San Rafael, mixing this from the multi-tracks, the 24-track analog masters, which, I mean, if you've heard Without a Net or the Buffalo show or the Spring '90 box, those are from the multi-tracks. And so Jeffrey will be basically spending his summer mixing these, and Dave Glasser, our good friend Dave Glasser, Grammy-winning mastering engineer, will be doing the mastering. He and Jeffrey work incredibly well together on these kind of projects, where Jeffrey will do the mix, Dave will do the mastering. A lot of feedback between the 2 of them back and forth to each other, and then I'm kind of in the middle listening to things. Really great process. So the first show, you're probably quite aware of it. If you went to the meetup at the movies, you saw that incredible July 12th show with the wonderful first set, with a mid-set half step, the great touch of gray, Brent singing Far From Me, Phil singing Tom Thumb Blues, great Promised Land. And then the second set, Bruce Hornsby on accordion, then he sits down for that great little chunk of A Man Smart, Woman Smarter, and then A Ship of Fools, and then that great Estimated Eyes. Really, the Estimated is really worth noting, because Jerry, something happens to his guitar. It's not a broken string, but he has to take a little break. And he steps back, and the jam just kind of builds on that, and then when he comes back during the Estimated guitar solo, he just rips the whole thing up. It's really hazy out here today. It's smoke. There's a lot of wildfires in the Pacific Northwest right now, and it's record-setting heat this week. So if it looks kind of hazy and foggy, it's smoke. So I'm not going to stay out too long today, by the way. It's not good. And then the post drums has just a great batch of music, including 2 of my favorite post drum songs from this era, Dear Mr. Fantasy and Black Peter. Now the second night, that's the one that you might know a little less, and I'm not going to say too much about it because we're going to put some samples up, but the first set, a couple of things in this first set that just, I'll say this. When we were picking the show for the meetup at the movies this year, the July 12th show, it was really close between the July 12th and 13th. It was the kind of thing where every time we'd view the show on the 13th, we'd say, oh, it's got to be the one on the 13th. Then we go back to the 12th and go, no, it's got to be the 12th. And it was a really tough, it was almost, I'll tell you how close it was. Buffalo '89 the week before, and then JFK in Philadelphia the week before, July 7th. We released Buffalo about 12, 13 years ago on CD and DVD, and then Philly a few years later. Same thing happened with Buffalo. I really couldn't decide which one to do, Buffalo or JFK. Very happy we did Buffalo first and then JFK. Likewise, we're very happy we did Meet Up with the July 12th show, but it could have very easily gone the other way because it's that good a show. A few of the highlights. Opens with a great Hell in a Bucket. I know it's kind of funny that Hell in a Bucket is one of those songs that when it's really on, when we're screaming, Jerry's doing those great runs underneath, that to me is what makes a great Hell in a Bucket, with Phil laying some huge bottom end on it. But it's the first set closer that always blows me away. To Lay Me Down, which again was very rare. Remember, they brought it back in 88, and they played it sporadically through 88, and then very rarely 89, 90. Yeah, so I'm a huge To Lay Me Down fan. This one's really good. The one in Foxborough a week earlier, not that great. This one is excellent. And then a wonderful Let It Grow. Let It Grow, it's one of those songs that I always found when they'd play it at the end of a first set, it would generally indicate they were having a good time and playing well, because it's a pretty complex song that if they weren't playing well, they oftentimes wouldn't have attempted something as complex as Let It Grow. Now the second set is where it's at. Oh, Bruce Hornsby sits in on a couple songs on this one too, on accordion. Memphis Blues and Tennessee Jet. I remember that. I was at these shows, remember them distinctly. Bruce coming out on the accordion, and it's pretty cool. I remember Jerry particularly being incredibly happy with Bruce on stage with him. Now the second set, this is cool. They opened the second set, and I remember this. I remember when they rolled into it, and that's the best word for it, the way they roll into it. They rolled into He's Gone to open up the second set. And it was just beautiful, He's Gone, and it blew everyone's mind. We were all set list friends. I was taping, so we were all set list heads. And then A Great Looks Like Rain, and then Terrapin Station. So to get Terrapin Station and He's Gone in the same set, two songs that were generally in the exact same slot, the pre-drums Jerry song, He's Gone or Tennessee Terrapin, to get both of those in the same set was wonderful. And then we also get a great version of Wharf Rat after Drums in Space, and another one, and throwing. It's a really good show. A U.S. Blues encore. Oh, the first night has a Black Muddy River encore. I know I'm jumping around a lot, but I kind of look at these two shows as kind of one big thing. I often do that when there's two shows back to back, or a 3-night run, same kind of thing. They just kind of roll into one. But great Black Muddy River encore the first night, U.S. Blues the second. But the Wharf Rat on this night, again, Wharf Rat is one of these songs that Phil lays down this incredible bottom end on Wharf Rat, and he playing these great notes. And this one is outstanding. This is a great version of Wharf Rat, coming out of a wonderful other one. I really love this show. Brent's on fire, Jerry's smiling throughout, Bobby's being Bobby, which is to say he's so enthusiastic in 1989, he's having so much fun playing. Phil is playing perfectly, as he always did, and the drummers are just having fun. Listen, from the opening Touch of Grey, listen to how great the drummers are playing together, right to the end of U.S. Blues at the end of CD6. Great stuff. So I'm going to keep it brief. Again, it's smoky out. I don't have a lot of battery juice in my thing. So RFK 89, July 12th and 13th, mixed from the multi-tracks by Jeffrey Norman, mastered in HD CD. Not that expensive either. What is it, 60 bucks, 65 bucks or something? Which, you know, usually our box sets are pretty much, they're bigger. 12 CDs, 15. 18, 24, 22, 85. So we really wanted to do something that was a box set, that was something to get excited about, with great music, of course, but that also has kind of the affordability factor of 65 bucks. I bought two actually. So I always buy what we put out, and sometimes if it's not too much, I'll buy two, and that's what I did for these ones, one to play and one to either give away or keep for later. But I do highly recommend you get it. If you like this Brent era, late Brent, Grateful Dead, which you probably do if you like the Brent era, if you like the Grateful Dead, period, actually, they're playing at such a high level. Again, you look at Grateful Dead peaks. Europe 72 through the end of 72, all of 72. There was a lot of peaks in 73, 74. There was a peak in the first half of 69. And there was a peak in spring 77. There was a little peak in the summer of 78. By the way, if you haven't got the summer 78 box set, the July 78, I just found out there's still a few copies of that. I'm shocked at that. Pick that up. That's some magical music. And then early Brent had some great moments too. And then really 89 to 90 had that stuff again. And then there was some great stuff in 91, summer 91, fall 91, actually all of 91 when Bruce was in the band. 92 is where you get a lot more hit and miss. Again, great music from 92 to 95 at certain shows, but overall it was a little more hit and miss by then. So check it out, RFK Stadium, July 12th and 13th, 1989, mixed by Jeffrey Norman at TRI Studios in San Rafael. Dave Glasser's master.